But first, right here out of the gate on the WHAS11 night team, you're looking at pretty dry downtown Louisville, but the story's going to be much different when you wake up in the morning. That's why we are telling you first at 11 about the weather impact as you will be hitting the roads. Hi, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us tonight here on the night team. I'm Doug Proffitt, joined right now at the top by our chief meteorologist, Mallory Schnell. So, Mallory, you are talking about some really good rain totals tomorrow.
Yeah, we're talking about a soaking rain for your Friday, between 1 inch to 2 inches of rainfall possible across Kentuckiana, and a lot of this will be falling before noon. So we are expecting a soggy morning commute. Out there at this hour, we're seeing a few sprinkles, but by tomorrow morning, we could have a few embedded thunderstorms down to the south of the parkways in south central Kentucky. We'll have to keep a close eye on that corridor for any kind of isolated warnings that could pop up during the morning hours. Right now, temperatures are in the 60s to right around 70 degrees. As I mentioned, a couple of sprinkles, but really those rain chances ramp up after about 2 a.m. Best time frame for some widespread heavy rainfall will be between about 3 a.m. and 9 a.m. tomorrow, and then beyond that point, becoming a bit more scattered in nature throughout the course of the day. But of course, we'll talk much more about your Friday and weekend forecasts. That's coming up in just a bit, Doug.
Very good. Thank you, Mallory. Well, his first day on the job is about a month away now, the 1st of July, but he's already getting to work. We're talking about Dr. Brian Yearwood, who signed his new deal with JCPS, and they approved it at 5 o'clock tonight. He's going to be making the same yearly salary that outgoing Superintendent Marty Polio is currently taking home in his final year. WHAS11 night team's Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Emma Gefter talked to Yearwood tonight about the future of the Jefferson County school system.
For me, this is just an incredible honor to be selected as the next superintendent.
He was offered the job, accepted it, but now it's official.
All in favor? All right. That is unanimous.
Yearwood signed on the dotted line, and the school board accepted, agreeing to a 4-year contract worth a total of $1.4 million. It breaks out to a salary of $350,000 a year, the same amount Marty Polio was making in his final year.
I think Dr. Yearwood is going to be incredible for this district. He wants to be here, and that was very evident from the negotiations, which was great.
Yearwood has been learning the district to determine where he can start making improvements.
And I want to have a successful school district. I want my students, my teachers, I want everyone to be successful. So the work has already started.
But Yearwood starting with already ruffled feathers. A Jefferson County Teachers Association survey showed he was not the first pick. The JCTA president last week.
The membership is very disappointed.
Board member Taylor Everett says he was one of 2 who voted against Yearwood based on public opinion. His views have changed.
He has an absolute track record of turning around districts and making kids better at reading and math, which is what everybody wants. Let's give him the chance to do it.
The public's opinion is a feeling Yearwood is aware of and wants to create trust by being accessible.
I look forward to, the individuals that's, weren't in my corner, to meeting, listening with them, learning from them.
I feel very strongly that he is going to raise the bar here at JCPS as far as what we expect as a district. And I think everyone's going to be very excited for the results that we see.
Yearwood starts that process with extra scrutiny from Kentucky Republican lawmakers as well. In Louisville, Clarice Shaley, WHAS11 night team on your side.
Yearwood left his last district in Columbia, Missouri, and was given a nearly $700,000 payout as he left. School board member Taylor Everett tonight told us that he contacted the former board chairman of a previous school district where Yearwood worked, and they only had positive things to report about him.
I'm not surprised. I'm relieved. When I called him in and he wasn't cooperating, I just got a weird feeling. Something's not right.
Only on WHAS11 News, that's former Bardstown Police Chief Rick McCubbin reacting to the name that has been thrown around a lot during Steve Lawson's trial in Bowling Green, Nick Houck. Nick is the brother of Brooks Houck, charged in the murder of Crystal Rogers. McCubbin fired Nick for his interference in the early Crystal Rogers investigation. Nick was a Bardstown police officer at the time. In an exclusive interview with WHAS11 News, McCubbin called it the best decision he's made in 35 years of policing. Well, Houck has never been charged in connection with this case, but the prosecutor today called him, quote, an unindicted co-conspirator. WHAS11's Isaiah Kim Martinez is in Bowling Green as the Steve Lawson trial is expected to possibly go to the jury sometime tomorrow.
There's serious speculation that fired Bardstown cop Nick Houck, brother of murder suspect Brooks Houck, could be arrested and charged as the fourth suspect in the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. Former Bardstown Police Chief Rick McCubbin believes it may just be a matter of time.
There's a reason that it's being put out there like that. A lot of people have that question, the same question, when? You've said all these things, make it happen.
Nick Houck, who's never been charged, was again name-dropped by prosecutor Shane Young as an unindicted co-conspirator during day 3 of Steve Lawson's criminal trial. That's wrapping up quickly.
I was like, finally, it's, still not charged, I understand, but just to hear the kind of what we've all thought and known, and I think they were a part of, taking her away, helping get rid of her.
McCubbin, talking to our Shea McAllister, says this confirms he made the right call, firing Nick for not cooperating with authorities.
I'm telling you, no, okay? I don't know anything about this.
When he was questioned days after Crystal went missing. Back to Steve Lawson's trial, we heard from a witness, the Nelson County jailer, who in that moment while he was testifying, there was actually audio played from a conversation in jail between Steve Lawson and his own mother in early 2024, played out for the jury to hear. Some of those moments actually bringing Sherry Ballard, Crystal Rogers' mother, to tears. Somebody has to know what happened to that girl. Lawson's mother told him in that phone call, "I don't disagree with you," Steve replied, later promising his mom he didn't help kill Crystal. His mom pushes. 2 days later, that girl is missing. You should have gone to police. You're right, Steve answered. His mom ends the call saying, "Only you know what happened." A lingering question, will Steve Lawson himself, the criminal defendant, take the stand? WHAS 11 legal analyst Nick Mudd says it could happen.
Would you put him on the stand?
I would.
You would?
And I'll tell you why. At this point, you got nothing to lose. A good strategy would be to put him on, own the fact that you were scared, you were, upset, and just you're fearing to go to jail.
In what's expected to be the final day of the trial. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS 11 on your side.
Now, WHAS 11 News has hired the attorney there you saw, Nick Mudd, with the Mudd Law Group, as our legal analyst. He's been with us for more than a year now talking about this very case. Mudd also knows both the prosecutor and the defense attorney in this case very well. So we also asked Nick about the potential closing arguments, the prosecution first.
Big point is, why did Steve Lawson lie about thing after thing after thing after thing, whether it's the cell phone records, text messages, calls, times, locations? Why lie about it all if you're not involved?
Let's go to the defense. What's my argument?
We work for Brooks Houck, we're getting paid, and we're doing what his marching orders are. Why didn't we tell the truth all these times? Because we're scared. We were scared to go to prison, we were scared to get involved, and we didn't want this to happen to us.
Mudd goes further in depth tonight on what the day in court could look like tomorrow. Plus, you're going to hear more from the former Bardstown Police Chief Rick McCubbin and his thoughts on the case as it unfolds. It's streaming right after this newscast on the Night Team, or you can watch anytime for free. To watch it, all you need to do, though, is download the free WHAS 11 Plus app, download on your TV, and watch for free. More news for you. New tonight, a man is dead after a Jeep and a motorcycle crashed into each other in Louisville. It happened at about 3:30 today on Valley Station Road and Grafton Hall Road in southwest Jefferson County. Officials say a woman driving a Jeep traveling west on Valley Station Road turned onto Grafton Hall Road, and as she was making the turn, she collided with a motorcycle. The man on the motorcycle was taken to U of L Hospital, and he died. The woman driving the Jeep was taken to the hospital with injuries, but is expected to survive. The traffic unit is conducting this ongoing investigation. No charges have been filed yet. We've learned the name of the off-duty J-Town police officer who shot and killed 43-year-old Marco Dorsy. According to police, 43-year-old Jeffersontown police officer Stevante Wood, who lives in the neighborhood, was contacted by several concerned neighbors about Dorsy, who was moving down their street, causing damage. Police say Dorsy walked right into Officer Woods' front yard and approached his front door. Wood identified himself and issued multiple commands to Dorsy, which police say Dorsy ignored.
The gentleman had been attempting to break into houses. There was one house that he had knocked the screen door out of. There were other houses he attempted to get into. And as he was walking down the street, he was with his fist busting windows out of cars that were driving by. There are other comments made by him that he was going to assault children and go into a house and possibly rape somebody.
It's now confirmed that Dorsy did not have a weapon with him when Officer Wood shot and killed him. Dorsy's family did release this statement today regarding Marco's death. They said, quote, "There's no justification for what happened. Marco deserved to live. He deserved to return home that day. Instead, we are left grieving, asking questions, and demanding answers." Tonight, it's the anniversary of the 2020 protests that gripped Louisville for many days. This was the actual second night of the protests 5 years ago that swept downtown Louisville. And now, the first public release of a photography book honoring Briana Taylor, and it was held at the Roots 101 Museum. The book captures the emotional intensity and raw moments of the 2020 protests following the death of Briana Taylor that March in 2020. It's titled Briana Taylor 2020 Protest Collection Volume 1, told through the eyes of photographer Miguel Hampton and his own family and community. He says this public release is the first step in the right direction.
Certainly, I hope people read or see the book, remember the day, but then look at the policies of our community, look at the policies of Louisville, look at policies of Kentucky and Indiana and the United States, and say these are the things that have to change, right? And we need to disrupt our norms. And that's what I hope this book continues to do.
Roots 101 Museum is located on North 1st Street, right by the Humana Waterside building at Waterfront Park. The book is a limited collector's edition. Only 1,000 copies were printed for this release.